Hello everyone, so in this video I will take you step by step how I created this Blackwater open top setup for my Cardinal Tetras and checkerboard cichlids. So the idea behind this fish tank was to create a home for my group of Cardinal Tetras who have been more or less homeless after our main display tanks started leaking. So I've had them in various different smaller tanks, and now finally they can stay in this dedicated kind of a Biotope style setup. There will be only two species of fish, Cardinal Tetras and checkerboard cichlids. The idea behind this setup is to create a Blackwater tank with botanicals, with lots of different pots and pieces of driftwood, coconut shells and so on, but without leaf litter. The reason I don't want to have leaf litter in here is because leaf litter requires some extra maintenance, extra care, extra water changes, because it is decaying, so I need to clean the filter more often, and this is what I want to avoid, because this tank is on second floor of our apartment, and the rest of my fish tanks are on the ground floor, and that's where my HMA filter also. So it's a bit more challenging for me to do water changes on this tank, and so the idea is to create a Blackwater setup that doesn't require as much maintenance as a Blackwater setup would normally require. Without further ado, let's start scaping this tank. And this is a tank that we just received for this Aquascape project. So this is a glass tank. It's 45 centimeter high, 45 centimeter wide, and 45 centimeter deep. So it's kind of it's a cube. It's about 90-liter tank. I actually, well, that's not some sort of an Aquascaper tank or something of that kind. It's a relatively budget option which I've ordered from one of the aquarium manufacturers in England. Surprisingly, it's a quite good quality fish tank. You can see silicone work is just perfect. I have absolutely no complaints about it. Glass is relatively good quality. It's not ultra clear or anything of that kind. It's a very nice looking cube tank. I'm hoping that it will make for a great project. So I will start with scaping with adding hardscape, specifically driftwood, and I normally put a piece of filter wool on the bottom in order to put a piece of a larger piece of driftwood on it. So I will play around with two pieces of bogwood that I have, and I'm not sure whether they will both fit in the way that I would want them to fit, but we'll see. Yeah, unfortunately adding a piece of filter wool doesn't help, because it doesn't stand on it. It will stand without it. But I'll play around with driftwood like this, and then I will add sand, and maybe afterwards I will add a piece of filter wool. So yeah, this is something that I want to have in this tank, a structure like this, so I could plant a fern, a Boston fern in here, and probably plant some sort of ivy style plant like pothos, or some sort of a philodendron which will go up here. And eventually I will install here a live wall, so a wall with plants, a 3D background, but not at the moment. At the moment this is what we're going to do. So yeah, I think this will be some sort of a basic scape that we will start with. Next we're going to add some sand, and I'm going to use just a regular pool filter sand. It used to be in our display tank before, but now I just washed it slightly, and I'm going to add it to this scape. As a final touch to the scape, I will add these two types of pots. These are actually my favorite pots. These are Cariniana pots. They're also known as Cuitiba pots or Savu pots, but Cariniana pots is a proper name. There are a number of reasons why I absolutely love these pots. The first reason is that they have this really nice shape. So you can use them as some sort of a caves or as some sort of a hiding spots for lots of different small fish. Small plecos absolutely love them. Apistos absolutely love them. Apistos will breed in these caves. Also small corridors enjoy using these caves. The other reason is that these are really long-lasting pots. They sink relatively fast, so they will probably float on the surface for a day or two, but eventually they will sink on day 3 or even on day 2, and they will last in their shape and they in this condition for a really long time, probably for years before falling apart and decomposing. So that differs them from quite a lot of pots available on the market for Blackwater tanks. The other reason why I like them is because they leach lots of tannins. If you want to have a Blackwater tank, Cariniana pots are perfect botanicals because they will produce so much tannins, and they will keep on releasing tannins over a period of time. So that's the reason why I love these pots, and I prefer to buy all of these pots and botanicals from stores selling goods for amphibians rather than from aquatic suppliers, because they're cheaper and essentially you get the same quality products. Before I used to buy this sort of botanicals from Blackwater UK, but I realized that they sell things more expensively than, let's say, shops catering for amphibians and terrariums. The other pot which I will use is a para nut. So it's a nut of a para tree, also from Brazil. So very much Biotope correct to this kind of setups. This is designed for dart frogs actually, but it's perfect for aquariums because it also provides lots of hiding places for various smaller fish. And for example, my checkerboard cichlids will enjoy hiding in this nut. I also like it because it will sink almost straight away. It's quite heavy, and it doesn't require too much of soaking or boiling or anything of that kind. So I just washed all of these pots. I don't boil them. They will be great without any boiling, and then I will add them to the fish tank. I'm thinking to add this para nut next to the piece of coconut shell which I have in here. And let's... So as you can see, it's sinking straight away. There's no need to do anything else. I'll get some sand inside so it looks a bit more natural, and somehow like this, or possibly like this. It's been 2 weeks after we finished scaping this setup. I'm more or less happy with this fish tank, and I'm not quite sure yet whether this fern, there is actually 2 different ferns, there is 2 different varieties of Boston fern in here, will start growing. Potentially I would like to replace it with a peace lily or with something else, but for now I don't really have anything else, so I will keep this fern in here and I will see if it starts growing, and if it grows well, I will leave it here. The rest of the things seem to be functioning well. Fish are still a bit skittish, but it will take them a while to get used, and Floating plants do not seem to do as well as I expected, probably because light is not bright enough for them, but we'll see how it goes. Other than that, this is a really lovely tank which I seem to enjoy so far quite a lot. So leave your comments in the comment section. What do you think about this setup? And if you haven't subscribed yet, please don't forget to do so.